Hello everyone. So this is Jitendra Chaudhary. I'm working as an assistant professor in mechanical department of RNG Patel Institute of Technology, Bardoli. I welcome you again in the subject heat transfer. So previously we had studied various applications of heat exchanger and classification of heat exchangers. Now in order to evaluate the performance of heat exchanger, there are two important terms that need to be derived, that is overall heat transfer coefficient and logarithmic mean temperature difference. So how these terms can be derived, that we will see in today's lecture. So first we need to understand few nomenclatures associated with the heat exchanger. So this is a typical heat exchanger where hot fluid flows through this inner tube and the cold fluid flows in the shell or outer tube of heat exchanger. And as both the fluid passes through this heat exchanger, as this flows through heat exchanger, their temperature changes. So say for example, this hot fluid, it transfers heat to the cold fluid. So its temperature gradually decreases. So this is the inlet temperature, and this line, this basically represents the temperature variations. So as the hot fluid transfers heat to the cold fluid, its temperature decreases. So this line actually goes downwards as the fluid passes from inlet section to outlet section. So this is a inlet hot fluid temperature, and this is outlet hot fluid temperature. Whereas the cold fluid, as it gains heat, its its temperature will increases as the cold fluid flows through the heat exchanger. So this line goes upward. So do not make any mistakes. This line basically represents the temperature variance. So whichever the fluid it gains the heat, since this is the temperature axis. So as the fluid gains the heat, this line should go upwards, and if the fluid loses the heat, then this fluid goes downward, and this axis basically represents the length of heat exchanger. So this is inlet of heat exchanger and this is outlet of heat exchanger, and the heat transfer takes place basically through the wall of this tube, or say thickness of this tube. So how heat transfer takes place between these two fluids, that we will see now. What are the heat transfer phenomena? So if you look at the conduction heat transfer, then according to Fourier's law, the rate of heat transfer, that is K into area into dt by dx. And in case of convective heat transfer, the rate of heat transfer is H area into surface temperature minus fluid temperature. So if you see conduction and convection, the rate of heat transfer depends on some coefficient. In case of conduction, this is thermal conductivity. In case of convection, this is the convective heat transfer coefficient. Then heat transfer surface area, and then you have a temperature difference. So rate of heat transfer depends on three parameters: some coefficient, area, and temperature difference. But if you see, in case of heat exchanger, how exactly the heat transfer takes place from hot fluid to cold fluid. So as we had seen, the hot fluid is basically that is inside the inner tube, and then we have a thickness of the tube, inner tube, and then cold fluid is outside the inner tube. So now we'll see how heat transfer takes place. So as both the fluid flows, hot fluid which is flowing inside and cold fluid which is flowing outside the tube, there will be a three heat transfer phenomena that takes place. So from hot fluid, the heat transfer takes place to this inner wall of the tube through a convective heat transfer. So it depends on convective heat transfer coefficient H. And from this inner wall of heat transfer to this outer wall, from this inner wall of tube to outer wall of tube, that is basically thickness, through the thickness of this inner tube, the heat transfer takes place by conduction. Since it is a solid, there will be heat transfer, that is a conduction. And since this is a fluid, whatever the heat transfer takes place, that we will consider it as a convection. And again, from outer wall to this cold fluid, again heat transfer takes place by convection. So here you can see the heat transfer from hot fluid to cold fluid. It is associated with convective, conductive, and convective heat transfer. So how to calculate the rate of heat transfer? Because convection, basically hot fluid to inner wall, and from outer wall to cold fluid, it depends on temperature difference. Then convective heat transfer coefficient H. Again, there will be some portion of thermal conductivity K. Then fluid velocities, the velocity of hot fluid, velocity of cold fluid. Then there will be a viscosity associated with it, the density and specific heat. So convection, it depends on so many different parameters. Whereas in case of convection, in case of conduction, the heat transfer takes place through this thickness of this tube. So it depends on, again, delta T, inner and outer wall tube, and the thermal conductivity. So how to calculate the rate of heat transfer? Now, just a recapitulation of convection heat transfer. So this is a fluid which is flowing over a heated wall. So heat transfer, the delta T is the surface temperature and the fluid temperature, the velocity of fluid. So it depends on this many parameters. Whereas in case of conduction, this is a solid wall. So it depends on delta T and material property, that is the thermal conductivity. So that is the Fourier's law, Q is equal to minus K dt by dx. So for prediction and designing of the performance of heat exchanger, now we need to derive a new coefficient which combines the effect of conductive heat transfer coefficient, that is K, and convective heat transfer coefficient H. So this new parameter, we can call it as an overall heat transfer coefficient, because in case of heat exchanger, now we have understood that it depends on convection also and conduction also. So we have to combine the effect of conduction and convection. So now we'll derive the overall heat transfer coefficient U. Now first we will consider a conduction. So we know the conduction takes place through this thickness of the tube or thickness of the pipe. So here I have represented the temperature variation. So in the inner side, there will be a hot fluid whose temperature is Ti, and as it transfers heat to this inner wall, its temperature gradually decreases. So T1 represents the inner wall temperature, and from inner wall temperature, again the heat transfers by conduction, so its temperature decreases from T1 to T2. So T2 is basically outer wall temperature, and from this outer wall, again heat transfers to this cold fluid. So again T2 decreases, and there will be a TO, that is the outer temperature, or say cold fluid temperature. So Ti is a hot fluid temperature and TO is a cold fluid temperature, and T1 and T2 are inner and outer wall temperature. Now we'll see how conduction heat transfer takes place. So between T1 and T2. So we know the Fourier's law, Q is equal to minus K dt by dx. So this is minus K. Now temperature difference is basically T2 and T1. So if we see the dx represents the space or the length. So here there will be T2 minus T1. So that is why we are putting here minus sign, because T2 will be less than the T1, and this is the dx, that is the length or say thickness of the tube. So here minus sign is kept in order to get the positive heat transfer. So now we can put here T1 minus T2, higher temperature minus lower temperature. So this expression becomes as Q. Here A, it goes into the denominator. So K also we are taking into denominator. So this term becomes L by Ka, and here from higher temperature to lower temperature. So T1 minus T2. So now our Fourier's equation or conduction equation will look like this. Q is equal to T1 minus T2. In the denominator, we have L by Ka. Similarly, for convection, according to Newton's law of cooling, Q is equal to HA delta T. So this represents from hot fluid to inner wall, say Ti to T1. So this equation is from heat transfer from hot fluid to inner wall, and this expression represents the heat transfer from outer wall, that is T2, to cold fluid, that is TO. Both these are the convective heat transfer. So again, we can write down Q is equal Q divided by HI into A, Ti minus T1, Q upon HO, that is outer convective heat transfer coefficient, into A, T2 minus TO. Now, in order to represent by temperature difference, then we can write down T1 minus T2 is equal to Q into L by Ka. Here also we are representing in terms of temperature difference. So Ti minus T1 Q by Q upon HI A. So we have now three equations based on a temperature difference. So this is convective heat transfer, this is again convective heat transfer, and this is a conductive heat transfer. So now if we sum up all these three equations, then this T1 and T1 get cancelled out, and this T2 and T2 get cancelled out. So we'll be left with Ti and TO. So this left hand side, now it is represented here Ti minus TO, as we add these three equations, equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. On this side, we have to simply add Q HI by A, here also Q upon HOA, and Q L by Ka. So we are adding just these three equations. So now we get this expression. Now if we take common, Q taking out as a common, and then if we bring these terms, 1 upon HIA, then 1 upon HO into A, and L by K into denominator, then our expression will look like this. So rate of heat transfer Q is equal to Ti minus TO, and all this term they we are writing in the denominator. So 1 upon HIA, L by Ka, 1 upon HO into A. Again, if we are taking A as a common, and if we are multiplying with Ti minus TO, then the expression will look like this: A Ti minus TO. In the denominator, we have 1 upon HI, L by K, and 1 upon HO. So this term represents the convective, that is the inner convective heat transfer. This is outer convective heat transfer, and this is through the thickness, that is a conduction L by K. So all these three terms basically it represents the resistance. So this is a convective resistance. These two terms are a convective resistance, 1 upon HI and 1 upon HOA, whereas this represents the conductive thermal resistance. So now this term, that is 1 upon the whole term, we can represent by U. So that is basically overall heat transfer coefficient. So now you can see that U is combined, U will give the combined effect of this HI, that is a inner convection, HO, that is outer convection, and conductive heat transfer. So U combines the effect of convective and conductive phenomena. So now we can write down Q is equal to U A Ti minus TO. So that is the overall heat transfer coefficient. Now here we are putting only single A, that is because of we are neglecting the radius, or we are neglecting the wall thickness. So AO, that is a outer surface area of the tube. AI is the inner surface area of the tube, where we are neglecting the wall thickness. So AO is equal to AI equal to A. So this will be the expression for overall heat transfer coefficient. We can also represent by this 1 upon U, then 1 upon HI, L by K, 1 upon HO. Now in some numericals, you will be given the wall thickness, then you cannot ignore the wall thickness. Then you have two areas, that is outer surface area and inner surface area of the tube. Then your expression will be look like this. You will have two overall heat transfer coefficient, one for outer wall, that is outer overall heat transfer coefficient, and one will be inner, so that will be inner overall heat transfer coefficient. So 1 upon u0 equal to 1 upon ho rho by k ln of rho by ri 1 upon hi. So that will be your outer overall heat transfer coefficient, and this expression similarly will represent the inner overall heat transfer coefficient. And if we want to consider scaling effect or say fouling factor, that we will see later on, that is basically a scale deposited on the wall of the material. So that also play an important role, which will reduce the rate of heat transfer. So if the scaling effect is given, then you have to multiply by this factor, which is called as a scaling factor, that is represented as RFO and RFI for both the walls, inner wall and outer wall. So then your overall heat transfer coefficient that will be look like this, and you can calculate by these expressions. Now we'll see what is the logarithmic mean temperature difference. As we know, to calculate the rate of heat transfer, you need some coefficient, area, and delta T. So now we have solved this query, which coefficient to take. So we have combined the effect of conduction, that is K, and convection, that is H. And now we are representing with the overall heat transfer coefficient, that is U. Now which delta T we need to take. So as we know from this figure, this is the inlet section where THI represents the inlet hot water temperature, THO is the outlet hot water temperature, TCI is the inlet cold water temperature, TCO is outlet cold water temperature. So there will be a temperature difference at the inlet section of the heat exchanger as well as at the outlet temperature of the outlet section of the heat exchanger. And also throughout the heat exchanger also you can see that delta T varies. This at this section the delta T is delta T1, at this section delta T is delta T2. So at each section delta T will be vary. So which temperature difference we need to take. So for that we are defining a term which is called as a logarithmic mean temperature difference. Now here you can see the temperature difference changes throughout the length. So at this temperature difference, whatever the heat which transfers from hot fluid to cold fluid depends on this temperature difference. At this section, whatever the heat which transfers from hot fluid to cold fluid depends on this temperature difference. And now in order to get the total heat transfer across the heat exchanger, we need to sum up all these small heat transfer that are taking place at this particular temperature, which depends on this particular delta T. So in order to calculate the total heat transfer, we are devising a term which is called as a LMTD. Now what is LMTD? So it is defined as that temperature difference which, if remains constant, it would give the same rate of heat transfer as actually occurs under variable condition of temperature difference. So that is called as a logarithmic mean temperature difference. You can also analog or imagine it as a mean effective pressure, which we come across in IC engine cylinder, where the pressure actually continuously changes, but we consider a mean effective pressure to calculate the uh, total force of the force on the piston. So similarly here also the delta T varies throughout the heat exchanger, but we are keeping a LMTD, which is a constant temperature, which if remains throughout the heat exchanger constant, then also it will give the same amount of heat transfer under this variable delta T. So that is a logarithmic mean temperature difference. So now key learning of this lecture, we know that overall heat transfer coefficient, how it combines the effect of thermal conductivity K and convective heat transfer coefficient H. And also LMTD is actually a mean temperature difference, which if remains constant, It would give the same rate of heat transfer under variable temperature difference. Now in next lecture we will derive LMTD, that is logarithmic mean temperature difference, for parallel flow and counter flow heat exchangers. Now after learning, you should be able to answer the following questions. For example, explain the mechanism of heat transfer between hot and cold fluid in simple heat exchangers. Also derive an expression for overall heat transfer coefficient and discuss some special cases. Also, you should be able to give definitions of LMTD. Now you can give feedback on this lecture for further improvement of this lecture. My email ID is jbc.fetr@gmail.com. Thank you so much.